Top of it, top of it, top of it. Your boy Coach One Stack is up in here, man. I already told y'all how we was coming today. I hope everybody can hear me. And man, we're gonna get it popping, man. We're gonna get started at about the 10-minute mark. And I'm glad to be back, y'all. I'm glad to be back. Had to move. YouTube was playing with my stuff. Go ahead and smash the like button when you come into the room. Yes, it's time. It's time. Okay, and what we're gonna do is when we get to the 10-minute mark, we're gonna start because once I start playing this, I'm not going to be able to hit pause. I ain't gonna be able to rewind it or none of that stuff. So I need y'all to stick with me. I need y'all to smash that like button when you come up in here and don't go nowhere. We gonna start the 10-minute mark. Oh yeah, we got a nice little video today, right? I'm gonna show y'all. You see this right here? See this right here? This is what we listening to today. What's up, people? What's up, people? What's up, Michelle? What's up? YouTube have been playing on my page. As y'all see, I didn't move. I'm still unpacking. Like I'm still unpacking, getting it together, but it's all good. What's up? What's up? Flan Ron, what's up with you? What's up, Michelle? How have you been? Don't go nowhere, man. And y'all smash that like button when y'all come in here. Because today, man, listen, YouTube been playing with my page. So we going to play with them back and make sure y'all pump the channel up because I'm finna let y'all hear the first audio recording of your president, and what he did to some of these little ones. You peep what I'm saying? I got 6 audio recordings, people. We're going to listen to the first one today. So at the 10-minute mark, I'm going to let people get in here and get settled because once I start playing it, I ain't going to do a lot of talking today. I'm going to let y'all listen. And you're going to hear a story of a gentleman. He's going to tell you his name. His father was a pilot for Jeffrey Epstein and used to fly a lot of victims around. This man's father and his mother, his adoptive parents, used to human traffic him from the time he was a little one up until he was a preteen. And it's going to get very descriptive up in here. It's going to get very descriptive. I'm going to give y'all a trigger warning. Y'all already know I don't bring y'all fake shit. I bring you real shit. Actually, one person yesterday when I gave a preview of this, they had heard of this, but nobody else has heard any of this stuff yet. So what I'm giving y'all, man, we're going to do one video today. I'm just going to let it play. It's an hour and 20 minutes, but I guarantee you, I give you my word, man, when we get to about that 10-minute mark in there, man, the video is awesome. This dude he's telling the truth. He's not suing anybody. And y'all got to catch on to who I'm talking about, your person who runs the world. And we talking about that person who owned that island, okay? He ain't trying to sue nobody. He's not talking bad about nobody. He's just telling his story. And the cold part is the military knows about this too because they even saw some of his videos in the military. This is why he was initially questioned in the Army. And you're going to hear quite the story about this man and how he tried to delete your person who runs this country. And it's quite interesting. Matter of fact, I'm gonna make a deal with you guys. If and make sure y'all get the likes up. Get the likes up. Because if the likes ain't up, man, I promise I ain't gonna finish this tape. When we start this, man, I promise you, when you hear about how this man tried to delete the person that runs this, I promise you, y'all gonna scream because this ain't even funny. Like, this is really the second time I've even heard it. And y'all know my history. You guys know I'm ex-law enforcement. I've heard a whole lot of shit before. And I've being in the streets, I've seen and heard a whole lot of shit before. But I'm telling you, man, when somebody gets to telling their story, it gets real. Matter of fact, we got people in here. We finna start at the 5-minute mark. Man, let's get pushing. Hold up. Let's get pushing. I want y'all to listen close. I'm finna listen close because I'm finna play and I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna stop it.
I'm just gonna start recording. And so I just want to clarify in terms of date, July 18th, 2025.
Oh, it's not AI generated. You can trust that. This video was made back in November. It is authentic.
And any
other
names?
Is William. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Ain't no way in hell you would. There's no way in hell you would generate this. But listen.
Sasha Bartels.
Okay.
But my legal name is William Sasha Riley at this time.
Okay, and I'm just so we're clear. I'm based in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. I lived in the United States full time for a bunch of years, but I was brought up in Canada.
Smash that like button, y'all. It's gonna get real in a few minutes.
And
we might be neighbors at some point because Canada is right now number 2 on the list of the countries that I am potentially going to move to.
Do you know? I think it's a good place to look. There's a lot of Americans, actually. I've spoken to Americans that I've said
don't go nowhere, people.
I'm told to come here.
Make sure you share this.
Lots of Americans
Tap the top of the screen and share this before it gets too deep. I can't rewind it.
So,
or they got to rewatch the live.
I recommend. In terms of
make sure you share this.
Really, what I wanted to do is like to just really
what's up, Shay?
Thorough discussion. You tell me everything that you've been wanting to say. And I'll ask some questions. This might be one of like however many discussions, and I'll record them. If it's 1, if it's 10,
6.
And what I'd like to do, I'm sort of recording with an eye to your testimony, getting your testimony of what you experienced, what abuse you suffered, and what you were witness to, and an eye in terms of being able to get into a format in terms of the affidavits. Whether we look at getting help from the International Criminal Court, because obviously what, you and I have discussed already, there's definitely a whole whack of crimes that have been getting committed by a lot of folks. And is even a case where there could be crimes against humanity charges in regards to Trump.
Make sure y'all share this.
And what else I'd like to do is I'd like to look at whether you would be okay with, me like transcribing and then publishing something. I publish newsletters selectively. I have a newsletter called Outlaws of Chivalry. I publish once in a while. And I was looking at perhaps publishing there, if you're okay, in terms of how it could help us in terms of getting the right legal support in terms of the International War Court.
I am for whatever puts a light on this, because in my mind, the powers that be are already aware of my position on it and aware that I have spoken up. And, the more light that is shed on there, I don't think that I'm incurring more risk, except for some maybe lunatic that wants to be a soldier for Donald Trump, because they are a little crazy. They're a little brainwashed, but I don't mind whatever would bring a little bit more light to this, particularly the stuff. If we can get some of this stuff verified, and I know that me speaking up is one thing, but then the verification process, is important too. And I have read about software where, facial recognition software that taps into the banks of known cataloged child pornography. So if the films that they had me make can be verified, it's not something that I can go online, but I am confident that it's there because somebody that I served with in the Army got put out of the Army for child pornography, and my chain of command talked to me and they said, hey, some of these images, some of the films or whatever that he had look just like you. And that was the first time I think I had ever talked to anybody about having done those films. And I told them, yes, when I was a child, I had to do those things.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit more about
share this live. Share it.
Like, so you were in the Army. What years were you in the Army?
Share it.
Army. I rejoined in 2002.
Yeah.
And I retired in 2016. I was in from 91 to 98 as well. So I did a little over 21 years. But the time frame that they pulled me into the office and discussed that would have been around 2008, 2009 time frame. It was in garrison, so it was between deployments.
Yeah.
So around that time is when they talked to me, and yeah, I can just remember. I can remember telling them that I knew it was out there. There was nothing I could do about it, and thinking that there was really no way to go about, anything at that point. I didn't know what I could do about it, if anything.
Yeah. So it was from when our emails, it was one of the fellow soldiers that was caught with a bunch of child pornography, and then your commanding officer pulled you into the office to go through and said they'd seen you in the films.
I did not look at any of the films. All they said was, hey, we had to look at some of this stuff, and one of those people looks just like you. And that's the first time that I had, I think, ever really spoken about it. And I said, yes, those are probably me. But I did not personally see them. But they described something that I knew that I had been a part of.
Yeah. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Here's what it was.
Yeah.
They pulled me in. I can remember First Sergeant Bayless was kind of red-faced, and he said, "Have you ever made a movie with a black girl?" And that obviously was. I mean, I'm not a movie star, so obviously that's a very odd question, and I knew exactly what he was talking about when he said that.
Mm-hmm.
So I said yes. So he said, "Okay, well, we have found some images that are of a sexually explicit nature on another soldier's computer, I think, and they look like you." And I said, "Well, they are me." So he said, "And you look underage." I think from that was part of their investigation to confirm that the images of the participants in these films were underage.
Mm-hmm.
So, that was just a secondary verification that, I was only 12 or 13 at the time of that film, maybe even 11. So, I mean, obviously I'm not an adult. And even when I was an adult at 18 or 19, I still looked young. So obviously at 11, 12, whatever I was in that film, I would not have looked like a mature, an adult,
Mm-hmm.
So it was more, I think, for confirmation that these images were of children. So I don't remember if he actually got court-martialed or if he just got UCMJ, which is just their lower grade of punishment. But I do know that he was chaptered out of the military over it. I think he might have had to do a little jail time, but I don't recall. I can't even recall the soldier's name that got caught with it. I just knew he was an NCO, a staff sergeant.
We just getting started.
Was there any?
This ain't nothing.
Did anyone else ever talk to you about the films again?
We just getting started.
Did they ever?
This is nothing.
Infer that there was any further investigation in terms to when the films were produced? Did they ask you anything about who is involved, or did they? No. They didn't go into any legality other than the prosecution of the soldier with the images. So in the military is a little bit different than civilian. I don't want to call it the court system because it's just the officers and NCOs in the military, but they have their sphere of influence. They have their little scope of operation, and if they uncover more, I think that they're required to give it to the civilian authorities, but they don't have any jurisdiction to go further than to just prosecute the soldier for the infraction that he is guilty of, if that makes sense the way I'm saying it. No, I understand. Do they have any duty or is there any legality, or do they have legal requirements to inform civilian prosecutors of such cases?
Yes.
Okay.
If they suspect if there's additional wrongdoing that is outside of their scope of
make sure y'all hit the like button, people. Smash that like button
to hold the individual soldier accountable for
we pumping this channel up
that he's not supposed to have.
We're gonna get realer than real.
That portion of it. If it is beyond what they can prosecute, then they refer the soldier to civilian court systems. But in this case, the military did handle the prosecution of the soldier, and I think all he got was like 30 days and reduction in rank to E1. They kicked him out of the Army and gave him a less than honorable discharge. I don't think he even got a bad conduct for that, but I know that he was put out of the military. And I think he did the 30 days in jail. I think is the most that they can give you at the at the level that they prosecuted him at. So I'm not saying that for sure on the jail time, but I do know for a fact he was put out of the military.
Okay. So they had films. They had some of those films.
What's his name?
Cable?
Yes, Hable. That was his last name, Habel, I think. Staff Sergeant Hable. I just remembered it. Because I could picture his face, and I just couldn't remember his name.
Hable. Okay. Habel.
Yes, I'm relatively certain on that name. I don't have the best memory. I was in a blast in Iraq, and one of the things that I struggle with mightily are names.
Yeah.
But I'm fairly sure that's his name.
Okay. And in terms of the films they had, so there was obviously a collection of pornography. Is there anyone you're in contact with of those your commanding officers that would they talk to you? Would they provide evidence, or is it a situation where
Michael Bayless is the only one that I remember speaking to about it. I have not spoken to him since I left Fort Carson in 2011. I would think that he would probably remember something like that, just the unusualness of it. First sergeants deal with things day in and day out, but I would think that he would remember that just because of how it's not every day that you have to deal with something like that,
Yeah.
But it is possible. I think my commanding officer's name at that time was Captain Colasanto. But I'm not sure because you get commanding officers come and go. The first sergeants, they tend to stick around longer.
Yeah.
But commanding officers are a lot of times they're only there for a year or two, and then they're off to the next thing. So my recollection of the commanding officer may not be accurate.
What's the spelling of his last name? Colasanto?
Cola, Colasanto.
Okay. St. Cola.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else you think would be helpful to talk about right now about then? The time frame? That was the first time anyone had ever mentioned to you anything about the films other than when you were involved in filming? Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The first time that I can recall anybody that it ever coming up, I always knew that they were, that the films, at least one or two of them were out there. I don't even know how many times I was filmed. But I can tell you that some of them are extraordinarily horrible. I can give you one instance where they were filming us. It was me and a girl that I knew that I had been trafficked with in other venues.
Share this.
And
Share
while
it.
we were filming,
It's finna get good.
they
Share
came
it.
in and shot her in the head. So killed her, obviously. So that would be...
Was that the Runaway?
That was another girl, and I can't even remember her name. Yeah. The runaway was tortured to death in a duplex in Enterprise, Alabama. My parents did that, and that wasn't on film, not her being tortured, but that was that black girl that I'm telling you about that later on Michael Bayless had talked to me about. But they went and got her because they were afraid that this was after the investigation in Tennessee, and they were afraid that they would go down for child pornography. So they were wanting to kill her, and then they were wanting to get rid of me via an accident, but they couldn't because they had already tried to kill me several times. They had
this
incident in Texas involving the Chevy van. There was another instance in Texas where my dad threw me into the middle of a pool and said, "Sink or swim." And somebody saw it and called the sheriff. So there was a police report on that. And then there was a third instance in Texas where my dad threw me down a flight of stairs. And that one fractured my skull. Now, there may have been other things that happened as well, but I remember those three were enough that they generated an investigation. Yeah. There were enough things that happened in Texas that my dad moved from Texas to Tennessee and then got in trouble in Tennessee and then got in trouble in Tennessee and then moved to Alabama, got in trouble in Alabama, and then we just moved one more time.
And you're talking about
Alabama.
Your adoptive dad, William Kyle Riley, correct?
Yes. Yeah. I have located my birth parents. My birth mother lives in Sierra Vista, and my birth father lives in Edmond, Oklahoma, but I have not reached out to either of them. Mm-hmm. I just, within the last year, probably 6 months, I learned where they live. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know, that's just an odd dynamic for me, and I'm still kind of processing that. But as far as family goes, I have a half-sister up in Massachusetts, and that's about it.
Okay. And your adopted dad, William Kyle Riley, worked as a pilot and was involved.
Yes.
Integrated in the Epstein
involved in
Trump
all kinds of things.
Yeah. And he worked a lot with Trump and Epstein, correct?
I know that he was around Epstein and worked with Epstein. And I want to say that he flew for Epstein. And if not for Epstein directly, like transporting Epstein himself, he did transport some of the rich people to and from these parties that Epstein and company hosted. It wasn't just him. It was kind of a cabal of several people, and Epstein was the lead coordinator, maybe you would call it. But it's much more than just him as an individual. You know, it was people like him, like Trump, other people, and I can't remember, like how many, but he was handy to have around because he was a part of the process, and he isn't just like an airline pilot or something like that. He can fly anything. He can fly helicopters, fixed wing, smaller aircraft, larger aircraft. I mean, he's that pilot, that multi-purpose guy that could transport whatever you needed.
Okay, so
and I don't know if he ever got into the drugs. I can remember him talking at one point, and he had refused to do a drug run, basically, and somebody else took that drug run, and they got busted.
Yeah.
So I don't know what kind of aircraft it was or whatever, and it was around Florida that guy got busted. Maybe he flew down to the Virgin Islands or something like that. I can't remember the specific details, but I can remember the conversation that my dad had talking about, thank God I didn't take that. And because the guy got busted and he wound up, huge amount of charges, 25 to life or whatever the heck he got. But I can remember from his perspective being nervous because the people that he was working with, he was scared that they were going to set him up to take the fall for something, to just get rid of him because he had been involved in so much other criminality that he was really nervous about taking on anything else. I know that's kind of word salad the way that I said it, but I think you kind of understand what I'm saying.
I do. No, I understand. I understand perfectly. So your dad would obviously, my understanding is your dad was the kind of pilot that those sort of criminals would want to use because they could use him to fly anything in any situation, to airlift Trump out, like you said, when you almost killed Trump, when Trump was assaulting you, or
I don't
fly
think my dad was
guests.
the pilot in that one. But,
He wasn't the pilot in that case?
kind of pilot, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But
No, that's okay. So, yeah, I've got, I've spoken to folks that, they look for those sorts of pilots. They want pilots that can get guests of traffickers into situations, in and out discreetly, trafficking victims in and out of situations discreetly, and
You heard them
victims
just
that
say
get killed
airlift
out of
Trump, right?
situations discreetly, all sorts of nonsense. So seems like
and that's what he did. He shuttled the people, but I can remember him not wanting to cross the bridge over to running drugs.
yeah.
Because in his mind, if he got caught with some people, he could just play dumb, and I was just transporting.
Make sure y'all smash the like button, people. Smash the like button.
Here to there. I didn't know anything.
So did your dad?
Go ahead.
Did your dad transport the victims most often?
Oh, absolutely.
So more victims than guests. I don't want to call them guests.
I would say more guests than victims,
Okay.
but he definitely transported both.
Okay. And that was either directly for Epstein, like wasn't transporting Epstein so much as Epstein's victims and Epstein's guests.
And the clients.
Okay, yes. The clients.
But he was definitely around Epstein. I can remember the one time that I can remember meeting both of them, and I can't even remember Jeffrey hardly at all, but I can remember the conversation in the car where they kept asking how to say Ghislaine's name because it was unusual, and during that meeting, my mom wanted to get the name right, for whatever. That was important to her,
Yeah. And what's your mom's name
Delaney
again?
Maxwell.
Her name was Mary Lynn Riley. This would be kind of my third mom because my dad adopted me with a lady named Irene Ursula Litsky was her maiden name. Mm-hmm. Her name is Peter now. But those two adopted me. He got divorced from Irene in 79 or 80 and almost immediately married Lynn. So Irene may have been involved in some of that, but that would be from a time frame that I don't have clear recollection of. I do have clear recollection of Mary Lynn Riley's involvement, but she died via suicide a number of years ago.
Okay. Now,
smash that like button, y'all.
What are you most comfortable to talk about next?
Here it comes.
I mean, well, let me ask some more questions in terms of the...
Share it.
Or do you want to talk about some of the incidents that we spoke about a bit by email already? What do you think is most helpful for you?
Fill in whatever gaps in that I can. I have spoken to you about most of what I remember clearly, but I can give you some of the details with those three, and that's why I am willing to talk about them. There's no. I remember more things, but I just can't. I can't give you much in the way of detail for anybody other than those three. I can remember Jim Jordan. I went to a party. This was at a farm. There were I don't know, 25 to 50 people there. I mean, it was a good amount of people, but not a massive crowd by any stretch. But the experience that my dad sold to those people was, if you could pin me, then you could do whatever you wanted. But my dad had taught me how to fight. He had been a bare knuckle brawler earlier in his life, and I know that he had worked and kind of just beating people up for a little extra money at one point in his life. He also entered into like the tough man contest, stuff like that. So it was kind of a game for them, because I was just a child. So you would think that you could just do whatever you wanted, but if they got anywhere near me, I would hit them. And by the time that Jim Jordan assaulted me, I was old enough that those adults, most of them not being athletic in any way, these are people that, they're not fighters by any stretch. Mm-hmm. They couldn't get anywhere near me. And Jim Jordan just sort of rushed me and tackled me, and I might have known how to fight, but I didn't know how to wrestle. So he assaulted me in front of a crowd, and I think that it was filmed, but I can't swear that it was filmed, but it was in front of those 25 or 50 people.
And how old were you?
That's why I remembered. I was around 12.
12.
When that happened.
And of those 25, 50 people... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
The reason that I remember Jim Jordan is, first, he stood out because he wasn't that much. He's only like 7 or 8 years older than me. So at the time frame that I'm at 12, he is right around just graduating high school, maybe first year or two of college, right? So him being so much younger stood out. And then I remembered his jawline. He has a very pronounced jawline. I remembered his voice. And his mannerisms haven't changed throughout his life either. So when I really started, as soon as Trump went down that escalator and said he was running for president, I got involved in politics. I started watching it. I started watching who supported him and everything like that. And I remember Jim Jordan just from watching him on the floor of Congress, speaking to the different people that go up there and testify. So, and that's him. I just remembered him. So,
yeah.
I know that's not a lot, but you give me a polygraph, I'm going to take it, because I'm 100% sure that it was him. Uh-huh. And Andy Biggs, I remember, because on the way to they took me to a house. This wasn't at a party. This was later, after I had assaulted Trump, and it was kind of a punishment type of thing.
Assaulted who?
He was going to get to
assaulted
me,
who?
I guess not pay my parents, and he got to do whatever he wanted. And I can remember telling me I wasn't allowed to fight back or they'd kill me, and all of this. But they must have said his name 50 times in the car. So Biggs I kept hearing Biggs, Andy Biggs, and I thought, I'm going to remember this name. And after he assaulted me, I don't even remember the assault necessarily, but I remember being in the car afterwards and being like really nauseous, sick to my stomach. I was seeing spots, and I mean, the guy beat me until I had broken ribs and was convulsing, turning blue and stuff like that. And the only part of that assault that I can remember is laying on the floor of the room trying to breathe. And I could hear Andy and my dad screaming back and forth at each other. And I can remember Andy Biggs saying, "You said I could do whatever I wanted." And my dad saying, "I didn't say you could fucking kill him." And, I think they may have actually thrown blows over it, but there was a heated argument and everything going on for an extended period of time. And then I can remember being in the car, leaving, and just having my eyes closed because my head was spinning and everything, and I was just trying to breathe, just in and out, Mm-hmm. So that's why I remember him so clearly. I have had more than one encounter with Trump, and that's why I tried to kill that son of a bitch, because he is a fucking monster. It's why I have not shut up about just how absolutely abhorrent he is as a human being, and it's why I tried to kill him.
Yeah.
Because I had decided, I had already seen enough other people die that in my mind I thought, well, they're just going to kill me too at some point, right? I'm not going to survive to be an adult from this. So in my mind, he was the biggest pile of shit that I had ever had to have any contact with. So I was going to take him with me. And
how often did Trump assault you? Do you remember?
I can remember two specifically. A third one that I think, and I think I was around him more than just those 3 times, but only 3 times do I kind of remember. I can remember at one point him asking the people that were kind of running that party or whatever it was at that farm, he wanted to kill somebody. He wanted to murder somebody. And they said, hey, that's not this kind of party. You can't do that. And they said, in lieu of doing that, they said, well, we've got some puppies. If you just want to kill something, we've got to get rid of them anyway. So I can remember him taking those puppies one by one, and like he snapped one of the puppies' necks. He cut one open and let it just howl and writhe in pain while it died. Held one under some water to kill it. He wanted to kill those puppies in whatever gruesome way, to experience, I guess, seeing them suffer in different ways. What his kink is, I guess, if you want to call it that, is watching people suffer. He likes to destroy people physically, mentally, during the process of the assault. That's why he stands out so much in my memory. And it's physical pain, and then it's also, degrading and all of that. But his thing was to just try to destroy human beings to the utmost that he could possibly do it, which is why I attacked him.
Yeah, that's understandable. So,
I can tell you this, the last one up, and okay, so this was after they had killed the Samantha, this is the black girl that I made the one of the movies with.
Yeah. And these were, let me just ask a question just to clarify. So when Samantha was killed, were all of these parties at the farm or similar locations to the farm? Where there was
it was multiple farms.
Multiple farms, and usually it was parties. So there was individuals like Trump that were flown into the parties, and then
and they would have like a building, a house, and they would usually have like a tent set up, and it was almost like a little, I don't want to say a fair. It wasn't that big. They didn't have rides or anything, but it was a kind of a coordinated deal, Sometimes they would have the bare knuckle fighting. That probably is how my dad got involved with these people, because you've got boxing and stuff like that on TV, but that's really all you had back in the 70s and 80s. More of the MMA type of stuff wasn't allowed, and these fights were a little more gruesome. They didn't fight to the death or anything like that, but they were bloody, and these were fights, and not just boxing. And so the rich people would pay to see that. Sometimes they'd have like a band playing, just like what you would expect at like a fair or something,
So the rich folks would get flown in, associated with Epstein, and they would pay to watch the victims fight. The victims were all underage. And would they pay to then assault the victims after the fights or during the fights? And they'd pay to torture the victims and rape the victims and kill the victims.
But now some of the fights were adults. So, if they had some big old country boy and some other guy, they would pay to see that. They would also pay to watch the kids fight, and they did pay to watch me fight. I would fight other kids, and my dad was my initial trainer for me to learn how to fight. I would later go on to be a boxer, an amateur boxer, but that's how I got my start in all of that. So yes, they would have paid for that, and the experiences were different each time. There wasn't like a set thing. You never really knew what was going to happen. So, part of it, a lot of it just comes down to money, So if they offered $5,000 to have sex with me, then my dad was willing to do that. Whatever the dollar amounts were, I don't know.
Sasha, that isn't sex. That's sexual assault.
Right.
I mean, I just want to say something first. I think you're extremely brave. You behave extremely strong, like a warrior. And I just want to stop and say it's important to me to say that, because a lot of folks, wouldn't even survive such trauma, but you've survived, and you conduct yourself with dignity and gracefully, and it's important to me to say that. I hope you know that. I hope you have a sense of your own honor and chivalrousness, especially what you told me in terms of drugs they used on you and how they lured you drugged to behave monstrous towards other kids. I understand.
Well, I can remember. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I can remember some arm of law enforcement showing me video of me harming one of the people that they were filming me with. Now, I don't know how that came about, whether they drugged me and I lost my mind, or they told me to do it. I don't know the circumstances, but I can remember being in that room and them saying, well, you did this. And it may have not even been law enforcement. It may have been, like the people that were running that. But I can remember being really upset because I had no recollection of having done that. It was me in the video, and I was beating a girl senseless. And I didn't kill her or anything like that, but
Yeah.
So, and I have a feeling, this part I can't prove because I only have my own experiences, but what the whole thing seems to be is that they first abuse you, then they get you on film abusing others, and now they have you trapped as well.
Yeah.
So sound familiar?
You can't talk about the abuse that they did to you. If they want you to be a legacy victim, somebody that they can use in the future, well, then they've got to get you on tape doing monstrous things to other people as well.
Share this live, people. Share this live. Hit the like button.
You know what? You're exactly right. That's exactly the tactic. And the tactic is insidious because have you ever heard of the torture technique a lot of occult practitioners use? It's called inversion torture. Inversion magic isn't magic. Sorcery is just smoke and mirrors nonsense, deception techniques. But it's sort of inversion technique where to try to linguistically manipulate the victims, to try to get the victims in a position where the victims doubt whether the victims, are good or not.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the case with a lot of the Republicans you mentioned. Like you said, Clarence Thomas and Lindsey Graham were at these parties. You can't remember if Lindsey Graham and Clarence Thomas participated. And it's sort of a question of, did they participate? Were they blackmailed because they were there, attended the parties, but they didn't participate? Can you tell me much more about Clarence Thomas and Lindsey Graham?
I know the least about him. The only reason that I can remember him is because he was a black man. And I'm sorry, but that club is pretty much just white folks. So having a black person there was very unusual. So he stood out. But the only thing that I can really say is that I remembered him being there, and then I remember what a big deal it was in our household when he got confirmed onto the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Because my dad was excited about that because of how high up he was. Now, I can't swear. I may have been assaulted by Clarence Thomas, but I cannot swear to that. If he did assault me, then it was not to the level of something that scared me to the point where I needed to remember it, if that's a good way to put that, which Trump rose to that, and Andy Biggs rose to that, and Jim Jordan rose to that because he was dangerous to me because I could keep most people away from me with my fists, but, you know, he was a good wrestler, so, you know, he scared me in that sense that this is a person that I can't, you know, that I can't keep away from me with my fists. Lindsey Graham, I am fairly sure he has assaulted me, but I just can't put my hand on a Bible and swear to that.
Yeah.
You know, I know that he was there. I can remember it. He just like Jim Jordan, he has very distinct mannerisms, and his voice is a little unusual as well. So I could remember his voice, I could remember his mannerisms, and then obviously how he looks. So I can put him there, but I just can't. I can't say he did this or he did that exactly. I just can't.
Okay. So
I wish that I could provide more information on that because I think
share this live, y'all. Share this live.
Just not enough.
Share it.
Point a finger at me.
Get the likes up. It's 6 parts to this. It's 5 more parts.
we can look at a different time to see if there is any more information you remember. But what you do remember, I just want you to know what you remember to know, that what you remember is extremely important and is extremely helpful. I know you want to be able to remember more, and the memories are in there. And, you know, I just want to approach the situation delicately because, you know,
some of the other memories are just vague. You know, I can, and I have been very careful too not to reach out further, because there are some other names that I could mention that I believe were there, that I know for a fact that my parents talked about, but I don't have a clear enough recollection of anything. Like, I can tell you 100% sure that they talked about Vladimir Putin, but I do not believe he was ever at one of those parties that I was at. But his name was brought up more than once.
During the 1980s?
Yes.
Okay.
Vladimir Putin, I don't know even when he ascended to the presidency, but I remember the name because it was so unusual. Now, at that point, he may have just been, you know, one of the Russian oligarchs or whatever, but his name came up, and I remember it just because it's an unusual name, Vladimir Putin, you know? But I don't believe he was ever there. So that is like, I don't know.
I told y'all this man go back to Vladimir since the 80s.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about
some of y'all wasn't born.
The name being brought up, but I don't ever remember seeing it.
So Clinton was mentioned, but you never saw Clinton.
Not that I can recall. And that's another thing too. I may have had interactions with additional people, but during some of them, I was so drugged out of my mind, I don't really remember what happened, you know?
Yeah. When you heard them talk about Putin, so it was at one of the parties of one of the farms, do you remember what they were saying about Putin?
Just that he was some sort of like foreigner that was very important. I didn't know any more. You know, the name was just unusual, and they mentioned his name. You know, they kind of had fun saying his name. You know, Vladimir. You know, does he like to go by Vlad or this or that? But the meeting with that person, I don't think ever materialized. I think it was just something that was discussed and never happened. Now, if he has other connections, you know, and he very well may, that's possible, but I can just remember at those parties, there were people that had strange accents.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it. That's all I could say. I couldn't point and say, well, this person was from Spain or this person was from Portugal. I have no idea. But what I do know for a fact is not every person at those parties was American.
Yeah.
I know that's not a lot, but I only remember what I
have a question with Trump. I mean, with Putin. Did you get the sense that the party attendees, that the clients were interested in Putin? There was something they wanted from Putin. They thought they could get money from Putin, influence from Putin. Did you have any sense of that?
The only sense that I had was that this was for the rich people, regardless of where they were from. So at this point in my child brain, I knew that there were rich people, and those people got to do whatever they wanted, and then there were poor people like me, and those people, that was the dynamic. So, that's it. I never heard them say anything about blackmailing and stuff like that, but I can remember them showing me a video of me doing bad stuff, and then I can remember people telling me that if I ever talked about it, what I had done was illegal too. And a lot of that was just bullshit because I was just a kid and they were making me do this stuff.
Yeah.
But
talk about malevolent hypocrisy, dude. They were just utterly grotesque. They were trafficking you, they were assaulting you, they were drugging you, and then they were trying to
they were trying to make me feel guilty about any of it happening.
Exactly. When you were in a situation because they were trafficking you.
The last encounter with Trump, the one where I injured him, was the one that I remember the most vividly. And
listen,
this was the setup for that.
Share this.
Remember my dad, before we went to the farm, this was when we lived in Enterprise, Alabama.
Yeah.
So it would have been about 81 to 82, somewhere in there, maybe as late as 83. But he said there may be somebody that you know there. And I can remember the look on his face, and it scared the shit out of him. But anyway, when I got to the farm, of course, I'm scared at the farm because I don't know what's going to happen. But the first person that comes up to me is a girl named Patricia. This is a girl that I had been trafficked with before. And she came running up to me and, said hello or whatever. She was about my same age, around 12 or 13. And I can remember my dad saying, well, why don't you guys go run off or whatever and have fun? And I can remember not knowing what to do in that instance because, these parties weren't for me. I wasn't. And then he said something to the effect of, no, it's not like that for you anymore. You're a man now. You can just go out and have fun. Well, we went to go have sex. So we went and found a room and started having sex. And while we were having sex, people burst into the room. It would have been 4, 5, 6 guys, big guys, adults. At least one of them had a gun. I think 2 or 3 of them had guns. But they came in, they assaulted her, they beat on her, and then they shot her while she was still in the bed. They didn't beat or assault me, but what they said was, if you don't do everything that the next person coming in here wants, we're going to shoot you just like we did her. I can remember them having like an argument because they shot her in the bed and then they had to go find another mattress. Well, that's when Trump came in. So that's why I remember him so vividly. And it was at that point I had already decided they're probably just going to kill me anyway. I'm going to take him with me. Listen. I tried, but I did not.
How did you? So obviously Trump was extremely violent. Trump's a sadistic psychopath. When Trump assaulted you, so sexual assault and physical assault?
Yes.
And
at one point, I kind of acquiesced to whatever sexual things that he wanted to do. But at some point, he wanted me to have sex with him. So he laid down on his stomach, and there was a wooden tent stake that was in the room, and I had been eyeballing it as a weapon. And what I did was put the condom on the wooden tent stake, put it inside of him, and I kicked it as hard as I could. And that's why he had to get life flighted out, because I ripped him open.
Sweet. Do you ever watch the movie The Equalizer?
Come on, man. I can't make this up.
Denzel Washington, sort of like justice when everyone involved in American law enforcement can't get any justice. That would be a sort of situation, obviously. I laughed because there's poetic justice there, Sasha.
That was what facilitated. Not only did I get really assaulted by Andy Biggs, I also got assaulted by like an entire party's worth of people. They took
after Trump was airlifted out.
Yeah, and a whole nother party. So they took me to another party after that, and because I had done that to one of those rich people, they took me from like station to station, and they could do whatever they wanted. Most of them just beat on me. I can remember me standing there and already gotten beaten up, 5-6 times, and I can remember somebody urinated on me, and I said, "Thank you for not hurting me." And he just hauled off and punched me in the side of the head and knocked me out. I can remember leaving that party, and my dad was just kind of dragging me out of there. It was another instance, just like with Andy Biggs, where I got beaten to the point where, the room was spinning. I was nauseous, probably throwing up, maybe some broken bones, badly.
And how many perpetrators did you say again? 20 to 40, 25 to 40 perpetrators?
People that were there, yes. I would say probably 8 or 10 that just beat the absolute hell out of me. And some of them probably sexually assaulted me, but I can't remember. I can remember getting hurt, just getting beaten up and,
Was that before you tried to defend yourself from Trump or after? Do you remember?
That was after. That was as a punishment, if you want to call it that. What happened at that party was part of the punishment, and then I can remember them saying that this is the last of it when I had to go see Andy Biggs, but Andy Biggs almost fucking killed me. So I remember him to this day.
So when Andy Biggs almost killed you was after Trump as well?
Yes.
Okay.
After Andy Biggs was after Trump. The party that a whole bunch of people assaulted me was after that, and then the last one was Andy Biggs, and then I can remember my dad saying no more. I can remember him even kind of breaking down a little bit, like psychologically, because I guess the repeated watching me just get destroyed by people. You got to understand, it's not like boo-boos and Band-Aids. They were breaking ribs and really hurting me. I've got like a deformed rib cage to this day.
No, sounds like they were trying to torture you just to the point of death, to punish you and to send a message.
They tried over and over again to hint to me to get me to kill myself.
Yeah.
And I can remember thinking, there's no way I'm going to kill myself because that's what they want. So I kind of survived some of that just out of spite, to be honest with you. There's really no other way to put it, but I wasn't going to. I can remember hating my mom so much that I just did not want to give her the satisfaction.
Yeah.
She, as bad as my dad was, Marilyn Riley was even more evil. Her thing was sexually torturing me. So, and she enjoyed sexually torturing Samantha when they went and got her.
And Samantha was the runaway that Riley,
yes, the runaway that
William
she was lived in a brothel, basically, a house where they had 4 or 5 underage girls that they had scooped up from wherever they got them from, and they would use those girls at these parties. Well, at one time, they sent me to go be a part of that brothel. So that's when I made friends with Samantha, Patricia, and Sarah, and those are the only 3 that I can remember their names. But Sarah committed suicide, Samantha was tortured to death, and Patricia was the girl that got shot in the bed before Trump came in.
Did Patricia die?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Samantha, Patricia, and Sarah, and all 3 died.
Yes. Yes.
So Samantha was the runaway that was murdered by your adoptive parents.
Yes.
Patricia committed suicide. Sarah committed suicide, and Patricia
Yes.
was murdered in the bed before Trump came in. And then they threatened
Yes.
you and
on the
said to
farm.
let Trump do whatever Trump wanted to do to you, or they would shoot you in the head as well.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And I can remember them pointing the gun at me and saying, "We're going to kill you." And my dad protesting because he said, "If you shoot him, we're all going to go to jail." And he was really, I can remember him being distraught. Now he's a kind of a tough guy, and all of that sort of stuff. So that's what stood out to me was he was really scared because he knew that if they just shot me, that's not something he could explain to anybody. And he had gotten into so much trouble with trying to get rid of me already. But there's the Chevy van incident, there's the pool incident, and then there's the stairs incident. And all of those generated a police report. In addition to that, we went down to Panama City, Florida, to the beach, or either Panama City or Destin. And they took me to a riptide area. I didn't know it was a riptide area. There were no other people on the beach. It was just us. But within like 100 yards, 150 yards, there's the regular beach where people were at. You know how they have the riptide zones. They don't want you out there, right, for obvious reasons. Well, they took me to one of these zones and had me, say, "Hey, come out here and play in the water and this and that." And for the first few minutes, it was just the 3 of us playing in water, and I'm just a kid. Beach is awesome. So at any rate, they go back in. I'm out there playing. Eventually, that current gets me, and I don't know how to swim at this point in my life. So it pulls me out, 100 feet maybe, and I'm bouncing up and down off the sandbar, just screaming my head off. Well, somebody that was on the regular beach, not in the riptide area, heard the screaming and came running from like 150 yards away, and right by my parents who were standing there. And he goes out there and gets me, fishes me out. By the time he comes back, he's nearly exhausted. And I can remember him and my dad nearly fighting. And at this point, there are other people that are coming, and that scares the shit out of my dad. But there was another police report with that, and I know that police report followed us back up into Alabama because the sheriff came down there and talked to my dad in Alabama. So there was another investigation for sure. So all of those things had already happened, and my dad was terrified that if something happened to me, especially so close to all of these other things that all of these other investigations, he pretty much knew he was going to go to jail over it.
So there was at least the Chevy van incident, pool incident, stairs incident. There was police reports. How many police reports? About 3 or 4. And then
that that are just involved in trying to get rid of me. And then there were, in addition to those 4, there were 2 investigations. One for the porn, and then when we lived in the duplex and they were torturing that girl to death, Samantha. Our duplex neighbors there in Enterprise, Alabama, they called the police because they could hear, screams and beatings and stuff like that. And when they investigated, I can remember my dad saying, "Hey, talking about me is just I had gotten in trouble and got a whipping or something. And they did an investigation. They collected blood samples and everything from the house, but the problem was they couldn't determine how long that blood had been there, I guess. And it wasn't a match to anybody in the house. So for whatever reason, they just didn't have enough. And I don't think they were allowed to talk to me. I think my dad would have had to give them permission for the investigators to interrogate me. So I don't recall ever giving testimony as a child. Not to the police in that instance or in the instance up in Tennessee.
Did you provide any testimony to the police in any of those 5 cases? Well, the one case with the military, with the child pornography, I can remember the sheriff talking to me at the beach in Panama City, and I don't remember what all was said, but I can remember my dad tried to get out of there, and the guy that went and fished me out, my dad's a pretty big guy, and he can fight, but the guy that went and got me was he was a tank. So it wasn't something that he wanted to really get into a fight about over there, and people started coming in, so my parents, I can remember them trying to hug me and stuff. Oh my God, thank God. I can remember the guy that fished me out that said, "There's no goddamn way." I heard that from 150 yards away, and you're standing there watching him, and you didn't hear it, And, they tried to play it off like, well, we just thought he was playing, swimming and stuff like that. And I can remember the sheriff asking, "Do you know how to swim?" And I said, "No, sir." And they were like, "Okay, this fucking sucks. There's no way that this is legitimate." And I can remember the sheriff in Alabama talking to my dad and saying, "There better not be anything that happens to him." And he said, "Because I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, you're going to go to jail. I don't care." He said, "I'll make sure of it." So they had a sense, but they didn't know. They didn't have enough of what they thought of as evidence.
They didn't have enough. That's exactly right.
And that was the case with Samantha as well?
Yes.
And your dad wouldn't let them talk to you?
What's that?
And your dad wouldn't let the police officers talk to you? So
right.
That also seems weird.
Block that, he did.
It seems weird. I mean, I know in Canada is a bit different, in terms of, there would have been folks from Child Protection Services there, and they would have gotten you away from your adoptive fathers to talk to you. You wouldn't have gone through that sort of horror in Canada. I'm really sad that what occurred.
At one point, CPS did take me, so I got into the foster care system, and ultimately, I'm just gonna. I was ungovernable, incorrigible. As at that point in my life, if you said something to me, I didn't necessarily. I didn't care who you were. I wasn't necessarily going to do that, and I might just hit you. Because that was just my response to life at that point. So eventually I made my way right back to that house. So I can tell you that throughout the process of trying to work with me, Jane Goodall was one of the people that worked with me. So I know that she is still alive. I think she's still alive. I think she's 91 now.
Yeah.
And she might recall having worked with me because I would have been one of the strangest cases she ever had. Because at around that time frame, I had made the decision that I would no longer let anybody get within arm's reach of me. And if they did, I'd fight for my life. So, people had to stay away from me. I could talk. I wasn't like a feral animal, but I just would not allow people within my personal space anymore. And because of her work, with apes and everything, with gorillas, they kind of reached out to her to make contact with me to see if they could help me.
Yeah. And did you talk to Jane Goodall at all about what you'd experienced getting trafficked? I know when you and I spoke by email, messenger, you said it was from during about 1978 to 1986 is what you remembered, 9 to 13, but you're not sure it could have been as early as 6 or 7 years old.
Right. I don't really start remembering what was going on until about 10 or 11. And I just know that it happened before that. I can remember being sexually assaulted by family. That's some of my very first memories. So, but as far as taking me to other places and these parties and whatnot, I know that sort of thing was happening, but I just don't have a good enough recollection to really piece together much of a story.
So whether you were 6 or 7 years old or 10 or 11 years old with the parties? When you
Right. Okay. I know family was assaulting me, and then friends of family were assaulting me as early as 6 or 7. I know that. Some of my very first memories are of being assaulted.
Come on. It's always the family.
But as far as taking me
always the family.
To make money at these parties,
I was a victim.
I don't have
Family.
a recollection. It may have happened as early as the first sexual assaults that were happening with
Family. Babysitter.
But I don't have a clear recollection if that was going on to that scale at that time, but do have a recollection from about 10 or 11.
Okay. So how much?
I know
No, it's okay. I'm glad you and I are
14 minutes left. 14 minutes left.
And I appreciate again how straightforward
14 minutes left.
You are. It's extremely important.
Don't go nowhere, guys. I got to chop it with
you. Wants to point fingers in every direction, but I have really thought about, okay, what do I recall vividly enough that I would put my hand on the Bible in a courtroom, raise my hand, and say, "Yep, that's the truth." And what I am as close to 100% certain that if you put me on a polygraph, it would come back just as perfect.
Yeah.
So there are other things that I could maybe point fingers at, but then it kind of gets into muddying the water because I don't really remember them that well.
Well,
so
I think
that's why I just stuck.
Yeah, no, that's good, and I think what I'd like to do, like, we'll continue discussing a bit about what we're talking about now. The things that you're less sure of, I'd like to look at a second a conversation just entirely focused on what you're not sure of, just because I think there is some important information there, but I don't want to muddy the waters in terms of what we're speaking about now that you are willing to testify in a court of law about. So let's continue focusing about any of the details about what you're willing to swear to in a court of law. And then, then let's look at, I would maybe look at, say, a second discussion and any follow-on questions from this discussion, or I might just look at getting everything transcribed. And I'm just going to look at it raw, because honestly, in terms of, there's obviously thousands and thousands of pieces of video footage, film that the FBI took that's all gone into some whoever's been trying to profit off of is nonsense. So what I'm looking at, I'm thinking even a combination, like just a brief summary from me, like a paragraph, and I'll even look at just publishing the raw audio file of our discussion with the text messages, because I think the context is really important. I think, especially because there's been so much collusion regarding copy editing of video footage that, folks that are really that are genuinely wanting justice, for them to just hear the audio recordings and read the text messages is plain as day. Anybody that experiences an ounce of integrity will be able to discern the truth. And I think it's so important.
And I kind of wanted to discuss one other thing too. One kind of theme at these parties that seem to be very very well thought out is they would have a larger party in the beginning, right? And in these larger parties, you might have, say, a couple of fights or some drug use or things that were kind of, let's say, mildly illegal. But the parties would go on for multiple days, and as the thing wound down to the smaller inner circle and the last day or last 2 days or whatever, that's when the really horrible shit happened.
Sound like Diddy, don't it?
Some of the people
Sound like Diddy party, don't it?
Even people like Clarence Thomas or Lindsey Graham may have been involved in lesser things.
Sound like the Diddy parties, don't it?
Then we're also at the same time and place where these more horrible things happened, but they didn't necessarily participate in those more horrible things. So that seemed to be an underlying theme of, and this is just me speculating here as an adult, where they would try to get these affluent people in all of these positions of power and influence to come participate in these parties where all of these things were going on, so that, if Clarence Thomas, I'll just use him, if he was there at the party, well, then surely nothing, that nefarious could be going on type of situations.
Yeah.
So it seemed to be very well thought out how they kind of did things, but as the party wound down, that's when people in my position would really begin to get scared, because that's when either we're going to get assaulted and maybe really busted up, or, even watching somebody die is really fucking horrible,
Did you see anyone else die besides Samantha and Patricia?
Yes.
Yes.
So I watched a grown man get beaten to death. He had done something that pissed off the people that were running it, and they killed him. I saw another girl, in addition to Patricia, when I was making the film with the girl, they came in and shot her while we were having sex. That was some sort of snuff film.
Yeah.
And then in the brothel, there were 2 people that got killed. Sarah killed herself, and then a girl, I don't remember her name, she was shot and killed, and then another girl was also shot and killed.
Okay. And all
I
of
can
these...
remember
No, go ahead.
me and Samantha having to clean up. We didn't have to do anything with the body, but I can remember me and Samantha had to clean up the blood and everything from both Sarah's suicide, which was an assisted suicide. Samantha actually shot Sarah, but Sarah wanted her to do it. She just couldn't pull the trigger herself. So that's just, so Samantha did it. I was in the room when she did it. But it wasn't a murder. Samantha didn't murder her. Sarah I can remember her just saying, I can't go to another party. I can't be here. Please.
Another of the victims, I don't know if you've read about, the British woman, Sarah Ransom, was on the Epstein Island and tried to swim off the island and was willing to drown than go through another.
Yeah,
torture.
it's some horrible shit.
Yeah.
And, I can remember the hillbillies that my dad sold me to when I was small. They were mean, but I can remember the meanest motherfuckers are those rich people. They are just demonic, Trump included.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to ask you some questions there again. So with the rich folks that you were sold to, that was all associated with the Epstein Trump trafficking ring. And you said to me you thought
Yes.
Trump ran things with Epstein. Is that true?
Oh, yes. He was not just a client. He was one of the people that facilitated all that stuff. It was almost like, and this is just my childhood brain piecing it together, it was almost as if Epstein worked for Trump. And not just Trump, but him and maybe 6 or 8 other super rich guys. So
do you remember any?
Epstein ran it
Yeah.
at the behest of Trump and that circle of people. So it was just I couldn't tell you how many people, but he was the only one that I remember that was at that level. But it wasn't that Trump was a John visiting, Epstein's empire of child victims. It was Trump was in a position above Epstein. It was as if Epstein worked for Trump.
Yeah.
And the rest of those.
He said he don't know Epstein. Interesting.
Do you remember?
Like he ran that ring for them.
No, I understand.
Interesting.
So Jeffrey was sort of presented publicly as the ringleader of the pedophile ring, but Jeffrey was basically behaving like a general manager of the ring. And then there was 7 or 8 other individuals, such as Trump, that were actually actively running the ring, micromanaging, telling Jeffrey what to do.
He would give Epstein that caliber of person, because it wasn't just Epstein. Epstein had people that worked with him too on a lower level that would go like find runaways and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know where they got the people. I can't say that, but it was this whole thing was being run as for those rich people.
Yeah. I want to ask some more questions in terms of your sense of like the demonic. Some of the advisor work I've done, some of my own specifics of law enforcement. I've come into contact, I've minimized any contact with, I'm familiar with a lot of really horrific horror stories that involve Satanists, occult practitioners, theistic Satanists. I've spoken to folks that were able to get out of the theistic Satanist cults. A lot of the torture techniques you describe are similar to theistic Satanist torture techniques, sexual torture, human trafficking, human cannibalism. And what I want to, what's your sense in terms of these parties that what do you remember? Like, was there any overt, I know a lot of the attendees presented themselves as Christians, but their practices are full-blown demonic satanic. Do you have the sense that any of them were actually secretly practicing any sort of occult rituals, or were they just like rich, fiendish, fake Christians that just didn't experience a conscience?
I think it's the latter, just rich, fake Christians. I can tell you one thing specifically that Trump did, and that I remember vividly. I was exhausted. I couldn't fight back, and he sat on my chest and would choke me until I was unconscious. And each time that he did it, he'd say, "I'm going to kill you." So, and then he would choke me until I was out. And, he did that, half a dozen times or however many times. And I can remember him saying, "I thought I killed you that time. I'm really going to do it this time," and then choke me again. So he would just do that over and over again until he got bored of it. So
did you get the sense that he was trying to kill you, or just to torture you about the thought?
Well, in the moment, you think you're going to die.
Yeah.
And that's the experience that he wants to see the fear in another human being's eyes that thinks that he's killing them.
Yeah.
But looking back, I just think he was just torturing me. I think if had he wanted to kill me, he could have. He could have just kept choking me until I was gone. Because I did get choked until I was unconscious. I don't know, as many as half a dozen times, maybe more.
Yeah.
So that's the type of thing that he would do, or worse. I believe, I wouldn't swear to this, but I believe that on that instance, my dad had told him, hey, you can't bust him up. You can't break stuff. Because all his CPS bullshit.
Yeah.
So, and I want to say he was upset at the end of that too because of the bruising. They didn't break bones or anything. But, obviously I had bruising around my neck and different bruises on my body. And that's something else too that I'm just remembering right now as I'm talking to you. At least one instance, the school nurse got CPS involved, I believe, in both Tennessee and Alabama because of the bruises that I showed up to school with.
Yeah.
And of course, my parents just said, hey, he's clumsy, he fell out of a treehouse or whatever excuse they gave, but it was looked into, but obviously nothing materialized from it.
Okay. So, let me see. Can I call you back in about 10 minutes?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. I just want to make sure I've got the recording set. I want to get into a file folder and get some duplicates, and then I'll call you back, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Talk to you in a minute. Bye-bye.
Okay, guys, that's the end of part one. That's the end of part one. Hey, I promised you guys that I was going to give you some lit content. I promise you some raw content, and we're going to have part two. It ain't coming today. But, man, by a show of sevens, how did y'all like the content? Throw some sevens up if you liked it. There's some things I want to talk about before I get off of here. And then I'm going to set up part two. It probably won't be tomorrow. It will more than likely be Sunday. I'm gonna give part one some time to circulate. Let me know how you guys like it. Yes, broken bones. See, guys, and I'm gonna tell you straight up. This man is not lying. As you see, he's not mad. He don't have no anger. He ain't chasing no money. He's just simply telling his story. No different than I tell my story or you tell your story. This man was abused. Now, if you guys don't know me and you don't know my pedigree, if you don't know where I come from, guys, I'm ex-law enforcement. I was ex-law enforcement. I was a hell of a D-boy in the streets after that, and I've been delivered by Christ for 9 years. I have quite the background in law enforcement and the streets. I've done both to the fullest, the ultimate fullest. And I can tell you, by having to unalive 2 people while at work, man, when you have somebody talking about them looking into your face and putting their hands right here and trying to unalive you, like that's some real heinous shit. Because I'm here to tell you, man, when you do that to someone, because I've done it twice, the look in that person's eye before they leave this earth, it almost, they look like a child. And I'm talking about these can be grown men. They look like a child. And a little tear drops out of their eye. It runs down their face. It just drops out of their eye as their soul is leaving their body. And it's some of the deepest stuff you have to live with, and to intentionally do that kind of stuff, you have to be a very sick person. Now, I want y'all to take note to what they said your president did to those puppies. We all know. And if you don't know, I'm about to tell you. And if you don't know, I'm going to tell you. And guys, and whoever want this content, after I play all 6 of them, I will have it for you and I will give it to you. And you can have it yourself. But I'm here to tell you, people who do stuff to animals, guys, you know those are the traits of a serial deletist, right? People who harm small animals. Matter of fact, let me tell you guys something. Being in law enforcement, you have to take a psychological exam. Man, that exam is like 1,200 questions. It's 1,200 questions, literally. It takes 8 hours to finish that test. Okay. And mind you, I had to take it 3 times because I was a cadet. I had to take it then. Then when I was a corrections officer, I had to take this same test, and I had to take it when I was a policeman. You take this test before you're hired, and they ask you the same question over and over again, but in different ways. And so they tell you, they want to, they just want you to be truthful about you can't beat the test. It ain't about a pass or fail. You can't beat the test. They're trying to see where your head is at. And one of them questions are, do you like to hurt small animals? Right? Because that stuff will disqualify you from even being in law enforcement, because they'll ask you, do you like to harm small animals? Then they'll ask you, do you like to go rabbit hunting? See, it's the same question, right? These are the traits of serial deletists. Now, if you look at Donald Trump, if you look at your president, if you look at him real close and you look at them videos, look down his pants leg, people. Look down his pants leg. He has like a little contraption that's hanging from his pants, right? And you already know that he can't control his bowels. Now you know why. You have to think about this, guys. This was in the early 80s. This man said he took a wooden pole, put it there and kicked it and tried to delete that man. Oh yeah, this person is real. He's very real, Tammy. He's very real. He has a picture. For those of y'all who I send the content to, when I go through all 6 of the recordings, whoever wants to record, I'm going to give it to you. It's a very real person. He got his pictures on there. He says his name. He was in the military. This is all real. Ain't nothing fake about this. Okay. Thank you, Valerie. Yeah. So I'm going to get part 2 in a couple of days. I'm going to let this marinate for a day or two, because I got actually Sunday. Let me see. What do I got? Sunday, I got a party to go to. I got to go to church. I got a church, and I got an 80th birthday party to attend Sunday. Tomorrow, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it tomorrow. So that's why I don't want you guys to hold me to that. So it will probably be Monday. Plus, I want to give this live some time to marinate around the internet, and you guys just share it and all that stuff, and have your friends come back. Let your friends watch this live and let them come back for the second version. And then after I play the next one, they're going to pick up where he left off. So it's going to be juicy as hell. And the next one is about an hour and 20 minutes as well. Now, after that, the next 4, they're only like 20 or 30 minutes. They're quick. Once we get past the second one, we'll knock the other 4 out like every day. Boom, 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 and be done. Yeah. So you have to understand something. Guys, a lot of this stuff is ritualistic. I don't know how many young people in here, like if you're an 80s baby, you might not understand this stuff. Definitely he was taught. He definitely was. And you got to remember, guys, and I want you guys to, your mindset, I got to take you back. He said it started in the late 70s and early 80s. You got to remember that time. He talks about Vladimir Putin back in the late 70s, early 80s. I've been telling y'all all along, man, the leader of your country, and guys, this ain't about Republican, Democrat. This ain't got nothing to do with that. I don't care about that kind of stuff. It has nothing to do with this live, this Republic, Democrat shit. I don't care about that. This man talks about, you just heard this man talk about, they were talking about Vladimir Putin, but your leader says that they're not friends, that they don't know each other, that they don't do anything. but they go back to the late 70s, early 80s. Yes, Valerie, exactly. That's what they call a snuff film. So let me give y'all some game, man, for a lot of y'all that might be unaware. Trump opened up the first Trump Towers in Brighton Beach, New York. Brighton Beach is actually Russian mafia territory. Okay. So now, if anybody knows anything about New York, you don't build anything, especially back when Trump Towers was built, the first Trump Towers, back there in them early 80s, without the Russian mafia say so. He been tied to the Russians. And you guys don't listen to me. Guys, check this out. Don't listen to me. Go do your own research, okay? Because Coach don't get on here and lie to y'all. Do your own research on what I tell you, because I'm not here to lie to you. Now, Trump, in those first Trump Towers that was in Brighton Beach, Russian mafia territory, that means that he actually had to get money from some Russian mobsters to help build it, okay? And to go a little further, that Trump Towers housed a lot. I don't want to lie, it was like 2 or 3 Russian mobsters who were on the most wanted list of the FBI. One for sure that was in the top 3 was on the FBI's most wanted list. Where were they living at? They were living in Trump Towers. And how did they get caught? I'm going to tell you how they got caught and how they found out. They were running one of their illegal card games in Trump Towers, and it got raided by the FBI, and they found all these Russian mobsters who have taken safe haven in Trump Towers. So his ties to the Russians go way back. I mean, guys, you ain't stupid, and you guys ain't stupid, and I'm not gonna talk to you like you stupid, because you got more than a half a brain. You know that man's wife is a spy. Go show me a picture of that man and his wife when they were dating. You know, just like I know, that man's wife is nothing but a spy from that other country over there. You know it and I know it. You know this and I know this. You all know, and guys, I like Bill Clinton, but I got to throw his ass up under the bus too. I don't play favorites. I told you guys, man, I said this 5 years ago. I said, and it's in some of my old videos, like I ain't even finna pull it up. Before all this stuff happened, I said, guess what? I said, you know what? There's a video out there of Bill Clinton, Kevin Spacey, and Chris Tucker getting on the little Lolita airplane going to Trump Island. I seen this video years ago. You can't find it no more. And when they brought out the Epstein files, who did you see? Bill Clinton, Chris Tucker, Kevin Spacey. Now, Kevin Spacey, you go do your research on Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey like little boys. He like little boys. Hey, Ken Gray, it is levels. Ken, it is levels. It is levels. It's levels to pedophilia. I broke down the levels, guys. Let me break down the levels of pedophilia for you guys again. Ken, this is for you, Brody. This is for you, Ken. And I want y'all to listen up. Like I said, I am ex-law enforcement. Like, I used to have to go to these calls. And I'm going to tell you how this pedophilia stuff go. It's levels to this. So this for you, Ken. It starts off like this. You got them pedophiles who, like, I got to use my wording because my channel already in trouble. You got the ones that like little ones, the wah. You like them, right? So now as that little wah start to talk, they don't like that anymore. This one, he don't like that anymore, but his friend does. So that what do? They pass him over to their friend. Here you go. Now, his friend likes them when they're just starting to talk. Now you can mold them. But now they're starting to get a little older. They about to hit that age where they're prepubescent. He don't like that. He don't like that. But his friend over there does. So what does he do? He passed him over there. Now he got him. Okay. Now his voice is starting to crack. He's starting to get hair on his body, or she starting to get hair on her body. Okay. Voice is getting a little deep. He don't like that anymore because that's almost a man or a woman. But guess what? He does, and he got a lot of money. So what do? They pass him over here. And now you have a 19, 20-year-old man or woman who be getting trafficked their entire life from person to person, and they think that it's normal. Like, they think that it's normal because that's all they know. Guys, am I the only one that caught the fact that this man didn't even seem upset? It had become so much a part of his life, y'all. He wasn't even upset. He wasn't mad. He wasn't tripping. You ain't hear this man saying he's suing. You're not going to hear this man saying, I'm trying to get some money. I'm trying to sue. You ain't hearing none of that. This became regular to this man. It was normal. Did you hear how normal it was? He was like, yeah, my dad's just taking me to the farm and I was getting beatings. Like, he got used to it. It got normalized. It's like Stockholm syndrome. You dig what I'm saying? I hope I answered your question. Ken, if I answered your question, let me know, Brody. Let me know if I answered your question. I wanted you to know it was all levels to it. And I like to answer questions. Guys, if you ain't hit the like button, man, smash the like button. Smash the like button. Smash the like button, smash the like button, smash the like button. Ain't nobody else bringing y'all no raw content like this. And I don't do it just because it's YouTube. I do it because I'm a real motherfucker and I like real shit. And by YouTube playing my channel, all they're going to do is make it blow up. Yeah, I know it's not all fancy with the banners and all the extra shit, and trust me, I got the neon lights to put in the back. I got all of that. But man, we're here to give you raw content. Diddy was just tossing people around. But I learned something during this video. I mean, because this is the second time I heard it. I didn't want to hear it again. I could have played this for you guys a couple months ago. I didn't want to hear it again. But now you know where Diddy got this kind of stuff from. Like, come on now. He had to get it from somewhere. I'm not saying that he got it from your president, but they got that lifestyle from being with the rich people, man. What's up, Carla? It's a pleasure to be seen. How you doing? Justin Bieber. I mean, the stuff goes back. Guys, this stuff still goes on to this day. Okay? Something else I want to hit on is when they talked about cannibalism. Guys, that is a fetish amongst rich people to how can I put this? Because I don't want to get in trouble. It is a fetish amongst rich people to have a young, innocent little one, right? And I'm telling you some things that I've seen. And I'm trying to put this the right way. And they may have that person suspended in the air, some type of way, in the air. And they may take something sharp and puncture that person, that little person. And as fluids drip from that person, they will sit under it and they will sit up under that stuff and just and all over and get off doing it. Because in their mind, it's this thing amongst these people that fluid from that person keeps their skin looking young. Keeps their skin looking young. You had a slave owner back in the day. If you guys give me some time, like on the next live, you remind me, I'll pull it up and I'll show you. I'll show you a slave owner. It was a woman in New Orleans back in the day. That was her thing. She didn't have a plantation. She lived in the French quarters in New York. In New Orleans, had a big ass house, and she kept her slaves in the attic, and she tortured them to the point to where one of them she took a cow's head and put it on top of this man. She would cut off their genitals, but she would take their fluids and put them on her face like makeup because she said that it kept her looking young. This is true shit. Oh yeah. Hey Michelle, and what you're talking about, guess what? Watch this, Michelle, and what you just said. When I showed somebody the dark web, when I talked about that, the dark web, and I talked about that, they gave me a strike on my channel. They gave me a strike on my channel for that, Michelle. Remember, young girl Diddy said he adopted. Oh, Ken, the girl that Diddy. Listen, I got a video about that, Ken. Damn, what's her name? I have a whole video about her. If you go look through my videos, I got a video of her of talking. She's grown. She's like 19 now, and she talks about how she was assaulted, tortured by Diddy, all that stuff. What you don't know, Ken, and like I said, I got a video about it. There in my videos. That little white girl, that Diddy. Now, her mom and Kim Porter were friends. You got to think about it. Use your head, people. I don't like to talk to y'all like y'all crazy, but I need y'all to use your head. Diddy said that little girl was walking through his neighborhood. Now, come on. You live in Beverly Hills. How many homeless little kids do you think there are in Beverly Hills walking around? And who will see a little? And I'm not. There you go, Nita. See, you know. Look, Nita, you got me. Come on, we right here. I tell no lies. We right here. And so how many, I mean, come on now. You know, I'm not racist, so we ain't gonna play the race card, but come on, man. How many black people do you know will see a little young white girl walking through a neighborhood and just bring them in their house and say, oh, I seen her walking around outside and I brought her inside to play with my daughters? Come on, man. And I can find the video. Her mother and Kim Porter were friends. She was messing with Diddy. When Kim Porter passed away, this same woman, I cannot remember the name. She hyphenated her name with Combs at the end on Instagram. So she changed her last name to Combs on Instagram after Kim Porter caught the flu and passed away. So long story short, that little white girl that you saw that said, I'm a Scorpio and Papa Diddy. No, she wasn't adopted. That girl's 18, 19 years old. I have a video in one of my videos about her, and you will see her talking, all grown now, and she talks about what that man did to her. And so she wasn't adopted. Her mom used to mess with Diddy. And so what I'm trying to tell you guys is when it comes to the rich and famous, they do a lot of little things, a lot of weird shit. Oh yeah, Nita on her shit. They do a lot of weird shit. They like to do things that they think that other people can't do. And this is one of them. Now, I just want to take you guys back to Diddy for a minute. Okay, we can talk about this subject. You think Donald Trump was doing that for free? No, he wasn't. You best believe that they was paying. You heard what the man said. He said that his dad was charging them $5,000 to $8,000 to do what they do to that man. They pay for it. So at the Diddy parties, this is my theory. The parties at his house. If you remember the parties that they said that he had at his house, they said everybody was inside. They said it was groups of people. You got groups over here, groups over there, groups over there, groups over there, the little people over there, everybody in groups. Well, you have to remember something. When you're at your home, you can do whatever you want to. It's Diddy's mansion. It ain't like the police is coming. It ain't like the police is coming in there. Why do you think that they were able to sit and do illegal narcotics for days at a time, walk around outside with no clothes on and do what they was doing? These people were paying Diddy to live out their fetishes. Why else would a prince and princess and royalty come to Diddy's house? They got their own damn house. But why you think this man only got 2 years? And to give it to you even deeper, why do you think cryptocurrency exists? Guys, if anybody knows anything about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, you can't trace it. When it's gone, it's gone. Man, I can get $10 million in Bitcoin right now, and I ain't paying no taxes on it. And you can't trace it. And when it's gone, it's gone. So I'll tell you, I'll talk about your leader right now. People are paying $1 million to have access to him at the White House. This ain't nothing I made up. Go look at the news. To go have dinner, it costs $1 million, but it's in cryptocurrency. Why is it in crypto? So you can't trace it. Being a president of the United States, you are not supposed to profit off the office of president. Why do you think he don't even accept his salary? Because he would have to pay taxes. But that's a whole nother video, y'all, for a whole nother channel, man. Because like I said, I got 3 other channels. I'm going to make one of my other channels just about finances. About finances. The rich don't pay taxes because they have their stuff in trust. That's another video. But these people were paying Diddy to come live out their sick fantasies. He wasn't doing it for free. Think about it. He wasn't doing it for free. Do you think that these people were letting these people come mess with these trafficked kids for free? Or were they paying a pretty penny? Carla, that's right. Use your head. Use your head. Guys, let me put you up on some game. I'm gonna put you up on some game. And you guys can look this up. You can look this up. They have this, excuse me. Thank you, Ken. They got this club, this exclusive club. It's not a club like as a place where you go, but it is a group of people, a group. We're going to call them a group, an exclusive group in New York. And they get together once a month, right? And I found this out like 10, 12 years ago. And back then, they were paying like $50,000 a plate, $50,000 a person back then. And I'm going to tell you, and at these events, they get together and they eat all this weird shit, like fried spiders. I swear to God, I swear on my mother's grave, y'all. I swear to God, on my mother's grave. They get together and I saw it. You can YouTube it. You can find it on YouTube. They eat fried spiders. You might see these. You might see a big hairy ass tarantula on a stick. They had actual bear claws. You will see the hand of a bear with the claws, and they got this shit cooked. They got it cooked, and people eating bear claws, and they keep their face covered up with little masks. And they're eating all this weird ass exotic shit that, like bats and snakes and hairy ass spiders, bear claws. They're eating stuff that they think to be extinct. You got to think about it. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Think about this. Think about this. Think about this. Let's say you got people that eat monkey brains. Let's just say you got this type of monkey and it's only 20 of them left in the world. They made a movie about this, guys. I think it was called The Breakfast Club. No, they made a movie about this. Marlon Brando played in it, and the guy who played, what's his name? That played in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. They played in this movie. You got to think about it. If it was 20 exotic monkeys left, or this type of monkey left in the world, and you were able to ingest one of them, do you know how much rich people would pay for that, to be able to say that they ate that? I believe there are other life forms, for real. For real. I definitely believe there are other life forms. Hold up. Hold on. I'm trying to pull up something for you guys. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm trying to find this video. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, let me see if I can find it. They got one in New York City, and you ain't even allowed to have a phone up in there. You're not even allowed to have a phone up in this place. But yeah, guys, they got man. The Bazaar 50 course 7-hour long $1,000 meal, New York City. I mean, they got some weird stuff going on, people. Shazza, what's up with you? Homemade chicken stock. These people don't think it's about power, realistic. Yeah, a lot of this stuff is ritual, like it's ritualistic. A lot of this stuff. When you look at the Diddy tapes and you see you got this one particular tape at one of his white parties in the Hampton, and you see this young lady with no clothes on that's laid on the table, and she has food all over her, and people are eating like sushi off her. That's ritualistic. A lot of that stuff is ritualistic. You know, you got these groups of people, man, that, you know, they feel that to be a part of something bigger, you know, that money can put them in a place that you can't. They want shit that you can't have. I mean, you gotta think about it, guys. Why do people do shit? People sell illegal stuff to do what? To buy things that other people don't have. To do what? To get the woman. At the end of the day, everything revolves around money and that cookie between a woman's legs. Everything. Why do people rob banks? To get money. To do what? To get the fly car. To do what? To get the fly clothes. To do what? To get the woman. Same thing with this ritualistic stuff. Why do people do all this stuff? To get the woman. They want the power. They want the power. And Trump, oh man, you listen, part 2, man, y'all, I can't wait to, man, it just, look, it got me itching. Like, I can't wait to play part 2 for y'all, man. I can't wait. Hey, you know what? And I'm gonna call you Ant. I can't pronounce your name. Hostile is exactly. Do you remember that? Do you remember that part in Hostile when the lady was laying in that tub? That shit really happens. That's what I was talking about. That really happens, but they use little ones. If you don't, go watch, listen, guys, go watch Hostel Part 2. Hostel Part 2. Hostel. Thank you, Shazza. Thank you. It's good to be seen. Hold up. Ooh. Watch Hostel Part 2, guys. Hostel Part 2. You go watch Hostel Part 2, and it's going to show you exactly what I'm talking about when I tell you somebody being suspended. Somebody being suspended and being and stuff dripping and them getting off. So you got people that get off to a lot of things, man, in this world. You know, everything is not sexual. But you heard what that man did to those puppies, right? He did that in front of the kids to instill fear in them. That's true. That's some true sadistic, ritualistic stuff. And it goes on to this day, guys. Like the human trafficking, and God knows I love the South, but y'all didn't pay it. If you really paid attention to that video, all of this stuff happened in the South. They went from Texas to Tennessee to Alabama to South Carolina to Georgia. What's up, JG? What's up with it? This stuff, think about it. See out here in Vegas, look, in Vegas, we don't have farms out here. This stuff happens way off in the woods, in the farms. I mean, because let me tell you something else. A hog will eat anything. Guys, it's stuff that going at these farms, and I just know this from being in law enforcement. Guys, it's stuff that going at these farms. People disappear. All they do is feed them to the hogs. They feed you to the hogs. In the South, you think about, man, you're at one of these places way off in the woods somewhere. Way off in the woods somewhere. Can't nobody hear you. Ain't nobody there to help you. And to go even deeper, for the illegal immigrants that are here, those are most of the ones that are getting trafficked, especially in the South. Let me put y'all up on some game. Do you know that in Arkansas, don't believe me, check my facts. Don't believe nothing I say. Go check it out for yourself. In Arkansas, they passed a law. And I'm talking about, they passed a law. They pushed this law to get passed that it was okay for 13-year-olds to work at the little chicken farms. So they got 13-year-olds working at these chicken farms. It ain't Americans. It ain't my kid. It ain't your kid. It's these illegal immigrants. Who in their right mind would even want a law passed like that a 13-year-old can work in these chicken farms? Only people that are trafficking little kids. Guys, what you don't know is at a lot of these places where these illegal immigrants, where they work, and where they're working illegally, guys, they live there. They may be living in the basement. A lot of times they work at nighttime. A lot of times they don't even come out. A lot of times, guys, these people are trafficked and can't go nowhere. Like they might not be held by this, but something may happen to their family. Like this is real shit. And I'm telling you this not only because I'm leaving this content, but guys, I used to be a cop. I'm gonna tell you guys something. I don't want y'all to take no offense to what I'm about to say, because y'all know I don't care about your race. I don't care about your religion. I don't care about your sexuality. I don't care about nothing. Everybody is equal to me, but I'm about to give y'all some facts. And I'm sorry if you're Caucasian. I'm sorry. But Caucasians are the number one people who touch their kids. I'm going to just put that out there. Number one. Next, coming up, is Hispanics. The illegals. That's number two. That's number two that touch their kids. And in the Hispanic and in the Hispanic culture, it got so deep. And I'm going to tell you why the Hispanics. It got so deep because you got people that are already here illegally. They're scared to call the police. In that Hispanic culture, it's not uncommon for that dad to pass his daughter around to his brothers, the uncle, the son. And before I left law, now I ain't been in law enforcement since 2007. And before I left law enforcement, the Hispanics was getting to the point to where they weren't even penetrating. They was going through the back door because they didn't want to bust the hymen, because, in that Hispanic culture, in a lot of Catholics, a virgin daughter is something that's valued, especially in that culture. Well, they don't want to break their hymen. So you got to understand, they may have promised this young girl to marry this man, and he has to be first. So they go through the back door. That's two. Number three is really going to mess y'all up. Them Saudi Arabians, oh, they're number three. I have to make a video about dancing boys for y'all. Number three, Saudi Arabians, man, they're coming in at number three. I don't care if they Muslims, they coming in at number three. And the cold part is, look this up. I want y'all to look this up. I want you to YouTube this. Look. Hold up. I want y'all to look this up. Dancing boys. Look that up. And you're going to see over in Saudi Arabia how they take these young boys. They pay for them. They go, because they don't have much money and they don't want to be homosexual out in the open. And you have to understand, like in those countries, the Muslim countries, Saudi Arabia, Israel, places like that, it's like against the law to even show skin. So they don't even show that. So to see someone dancing is like taboo. So it's legal out there too. And they take these little boys from poor families. They buy them when they're about 8 or 9 years old. They buy them and they take them and they teach them how to dance, and they give them the little symbols that they have with their hands, and they when you belly dance, and they dress them up. They don't dress them as a woman, but they put the little big like robe on them, like that big towel across them, and they'll do their eyebrows, and they will come out and they'll get to dancing for all these groups of men. They call them dancing boys. And these men shout, hardcore gangsters. People that they pay. They making it rain on these dancing boys. And at the end of the night, they always ask, who's going to take the dancing boy home? See, they don't do it out in the open. They do it behind closed doors. And when you look this up, there you go. Valerie, there you go. Valerie know I'm not lying. I tell no lies. I keep it real with y'all, man. I'm here to inform you guys. This channel finna be lit over here. Fuck what YouTube talking about. So yeah, so now with these dancing boys, you have a guy who's he's the guide. He's the guide for the person making the video. And they asked him, they said, how many dancing boys have you been with? He was like, at least 2,000 or 3,000. That Boca boys, that means that he have knocked off this man said on camera that he done knocked off 2,000 or 3,000 boys. That's coming in number three. Number four is us African Americans. We number four, man, messing with our kid. And coming in at fifth are the Asians. You rarely see that in the Asian community. Does it happen? Yes, but rarely. More so with the Asian community in Asia, in places in Asia, they turn their kids out at an early age. They have them working. It's places in Asia you can go get you 2, 3 little ones, and that's normal. That's considered normal. You can go get you 2, 3 little ones. Over there in them countries, a lot of them are bred to take care of a man or a woman, whether they are a boy or a girl. But it's rare that their parents or their family will do stuff to them. Facts. Valerie. Listen, Valerie knows exactly what she's talking about. Valerie knows exactly what she's talking about. But I hope you guys like this live, man. And it's good to be back, because like I said, YouTube is playing on my channel. And I hope it don't get played with. I hope that I have deleted the right videos, because I had to delete some content. And I know the content came from my shorts. So I went back to the date they was talking about, and I tried to delete what I could, and I'm still trying to fix it because I don't want them messing with my channel. That's why I haven't posted anything. Plus, I was moving. In some Asian countries, the parents will do that to you. Even the brother will do that to. Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, it has with everybody. And I'm just telling you guys, just from being in law enforcement, just the of how it goes. Like, you know, you have to understand this is stuff that I've seen. Guys, it happened to me. You know, I was a victim from age 5 to 10 from a family member that was a woman and the babysitter. You know, how has it affected me? It really didn't affect me. Well, it's affected. If this is how it affected me, I don't like somebody trying to make me do anything. That's how it affected me to this day. Now, if you don't, if it, I'll give you the world. Like you can have the world. If you in my circle or you're around me, you can have the world. I will give you. Ain't even got to ask for it. But if you try to make me do something, it ain't happening. You're gonna get so far, you're gonna get pushed so far away from me. And that is because of how I was tampered with as a kid from age 5 to 10. From age 5 to 10 by a family member and then the babysitter. You know? Yeah, you too be playing with channels like and the cold part is and I don't want to lie to y'all. It ain't. It's the computer with YouTube because you can actually go and you can type to somebody with their support, and they're actually pretty cool. The humans, like they're really cool. This stuff is computer generated. It ain't even human generated. It's computer generated because you can get on there like so. I can't even knock YouTube all the way because you can actually get in there and start typing and say, "Hey," and talk to somebody, and they're really trying to help you with your problem. But the thing is, where it's flawed at is that the computer, YouTube's computer, will flag your stuff. Well, but the people, their support, when you're talking to them, they can't go tell you which one of your videos is suspect. They can't go through and say, hey, this type of video right here is what you need to delete. They can't tell you that. All they can tell you is the computer said X, Y, and Z. And they're gonna send you what the policy is on posting. That's it. I know 3 separate grown men who had the same story as you, tampered with by grown women. Yeah, I was, and the thing is, did it bother me? Yeah, because I was so young. It bothered me, but then again, you have to understand it's another form of tampering. The age, I don't know what the age of consent is for sex in your state, but here is 16. So unless you're a police officer, a teacher, a doctor, a lawyer, somewhere in a position of trust, a person has to be 18. But if you're not none of that, you can get me. I'm 49. I go get all the 16-year-olds I wanted if that's what I wanted to do, and that's legal here. Well, man, I mean, when I'm 16 years old, I got videos about it. When I'm 16, I'm tapping daughter and her 42-year-old mama at 16. At 17, I'm tapping daughter and her 40-some-year-old mama. At 19, I'm tapping daughter and her 40-some-year-old mama. I mean, now some people gonna say that I was tampered with when I was 16. Me, I say I was having fun because I learned a lot of shit from grown women of how to tell the truth and be very direct in my approach and don't lie to people because not lying will get you everything that you want. Thank you, Nita. I appreciate that. Carla, thank you. Thank you. This is black too, by the way. This is a Miami hat. Thank you, Nita. Nita actually met me. Let me tell y'all a story about Nita. So I'm in Walmart one day, right? I'm literally in Walmart. And this little itty bitty little woman, beautiful woman, comes and asks me, am I such and such? I was scared. Like, I was like, damn, do I got a child I don't know about? Did I do something bad? What is it? And it was her. And she's cool as shit. I've actually, come across a few people in public that knew, more than a few that knew me, but it was crazy. But the first time somebody met me, it was crazy because I was in a clothing store and I was getting some clothes and it was this big ass dude. Like I'm pretty swole, but I'm only 5'8". This dude was about a good 6'6", black dude, swole as hell. He's like, don't I know you? I'm like, nah, man, you don't know me. He's like, no, I just saw you. You such and such. I'm like, yeah, I'm him. But it's kind of cool. It's cool, man, when you meet people and you got that good energy. But man, I'm just here to just give it to y'all raw, man. You already know. So with me, needed. But hey, if you guys like the live, throw the 7 up in the air, because I'm gonna get ready to schedule this next one. I'm probably gonna do it on Monday, because I know I'm not gonna be able to do it tomorrow. I know for a fact I will not be able to do it tomorrow. I'm not gonna be able to do it Sunday, so it's gonna be Monday. I appreciate you too, Nita. Oh yeah, Carla, Nita cool as shit. She cool as shit. Yeah, throw them 7s up, people. Throw those 7s up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're gonna make this thing grow. We're gonna spruce it up a little bit. And the next live we coming back with is part 2. So we're gonna keep the content going with the T on this channel. But just understand, in the background, people, like I said, I got 3 more channels. I got 3 active channels. 3. I don't really post over there, but I'm going to take one of those channels and I'm going to convert it into a finance channel, to where all I'm going to leave is finance content on there about businesses, business credit, so on and so forth. Because when you mix stuff up, you're going to fuck up the algorithm. That way, that will be that, this will be this, and we're going to keep dropping the T. It's going to get deeper over here. Let me kind of show you guys. Let me kind of share something with you guys here. We got the apparel coming. I hope y'all like that. Do you guys like that? Because I am him. Hashtag I'm him and you're her. Do you guys like that? Let me know how you guys like that. I told you guys I got something for the rainbow community too, right? I told you I got something for the rainbow community. You like that? We're gonna have this merchandise coming out. I'm telling you guys, we're gonna have this merchandise coming out, guys. I'm telling you. I bullshit you not. We coming. Like I said, I'm one person, man. I'm one. Hashtag I'm him. Hashtag I'm her. And chosen one. You damn right you heard, Nita. Hey, and we gonna talk about that. Let me share something else with you guys. Hold up. Let me share something else with you guys. See, I told you guys, man, you guys are family. Because for family, with family, you can share stuff like this. And family ain't even seen this, but you guys are family. So let me show you that. I already showed you that. So let me show you something. Let me show you where else I'm coming. Now, this right here, this is my logo, right? Don't try to play with it. It's already trademarked. That chosen one, right? That's fly. That's some fly shit. Okay, that's the original. So I'm just trying to show y'all what I'm coming with, what's going to be available. Imagine that on your sweatshirt. Ain't that chosen one hard? Imagine that on your sweatshirt. Hold up. Imagine that. I could do this any way I want to, because we are chosen, baby. We're chosen by the best. You can't see that? We even got some for the Hispanics, for the Mexicans. We are chosen. Oh, my bad. Breast cancer awareness. We are chosen. Boom. Just had to share a little bit with y'all. Mitchell 5812, you're touching something that has been going on far too long. It's sad we as children and our children been touched. Nothing been done. Technology and it's time waking us up, still nothing done. Sad. Exactly. You know, you got to talk to your kids, man. You got to talk to your kids. You have to talk to your kids. Haven't been over in a while, but always enjoy. Thank you, Carla. Thank you. I just wanted to share some stuff with you guys. I got the merchandise coming. Hey, I wanted it to be, I wanted it to be fly. That I'm him, I'm her. I've been working on that for almost a year. Because with me, I'm a fly motherfucking man. I got this, I think I got 125 pair of shoes. I wanted to make something that go with all my shoes, and it came to me, and I knew I wanted to do chosen one and hashtag I'm him, I'm her for a whole lot of reasons. And my design finally came to me. It took almost a year. So, guys, you got to keep God first, and sometimes you got to wait on him. You got to wait on him and listen to him. You dig? But other than that, guys, it's time for me to dip. I love you all. Be looking out. Be looking out. Be looking out. Because I'm about to schedule. I'm about to schedule part 2 in a minute, and the content is finna keep flowing. I may turn more. I may start doing more reaction videos, so I don't be playing with nobody's content. But man, just stay here. And guess what, Tootie? Guess what? Tootie is. I hope that's how I pronounce it. Tootie. See that? See how you got yes 7? You see my 7 at the top? 7 is my favorite number. 7 is the number of completion. 7 is God's favorite number. And it's all 7s around here, man. It ain't nothing but 7s. But I'm going to see you guys soon, man. Stay up, stay down till you come up. Keep God first.